The following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Welcome, Hoop Ballers. This is Box Score Breakdown on November 5. I am your host, Hank Aaron. Let's jump into the games tonight on a nice 6-game slate. Let's start with the overtime game in Charlotte between the Pacers and the Hornets. We're going to start on the Pacers side. We had some big games tonight from a couple of Pacers. One of them was TJ Warren, 15 of 18 from the field. 2 of 2 from the 3-point line, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 2 turnovers, and a big 33 points. TJ Warren has been a very effective fantasy player the past few seasons when he's been on the court. The main issue with him has always been his health, but so far he's been healthy and he's been productive for the Pacers. If he keeps this up, no reason he can't be a top 60 guy. As long as Oladipo's out. Even when Oladipo comes back, he may still be able to stay in the top 60 range. He may get dinged some. But expect Warren to continue to be very productive as long as Depot is out. And even, frankly, he'll be pretty good when Depot gets back. Another guy with a big night tonight, Malcolm Brogdon. 12 of 19, 2 threes, 5 of 5 from the free throw line. 31 points, 5 turnovers, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. No steals or blocks, but still very productive. He has been a surprise player this year. He's been putting up top 10 numbers. It's way higher than I had expected and way higher probably than most people expected, but it looks like it's here to stay as long as Depot is out. So anybody who got their hands on Brogdon, they can expect some great numbers. Even if there's a slight regression here, he'll still be comfortably in the top 20 or 30. When Depot gets back, they may knock him down some, but again, just sit back, enjoy the ride, and let him bring you all that fantasy goodness that he's been bringing for the last couple of weeks. Other guys on the Pacers tonight, Jeremy Lamb, 8 of 19 from the field, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, no blocks, no turnovers, 2 of 5 from the 3-point line, 18 points total. We had I apologize if I don't pronounce his name correctly, but Goga Bidatse, he had a good 32 minutes, 3 of 7 from the field, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, and a big 4 blocks with 3 turnovers, 6 points, but with those kind of block numbers, it's okay. We don't know exactly how long Sabonis is going to be out, and we don't know how long Turner's going to be out, but as long as both of those guys are out, he's going to be getting a lot of run, and he's going to be someone that you could use as a block specialist. Off the bench, you got Holiday going 2 of 6 from the field, with one 3-pointer, 3 assists, 5 points. TJ McConnell, 14 minutes, 3 of 5 from the field, 3 rebounds, 3 turnovers. And then Aaron Holiday as well, 23 minutes, 2 of 7 from the field, 2 of 4 from the 3-point line, 4 assists, 1 block. So not much going on with the Pacers bench. Obviously with them, we know that both Sabonis and Miles Turner are out, so when they come back, they'll probably take up some of the usage some of the other players had tonight. But these guys, their starters are very productive, and you can keep using them and expecting them to continue to outperform their ADP until at least Depot comes back and maybe even afterwards. Over on the Hornets side, we had PJ Washington, 24 minutes, 6 of 9 from the field, 0-2 from the 3-point line, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, only 1 turnover, no blocks, 16 points. Pretty good line for him, especially since you probably picked him up off the wire. Miles Bridges, 43 minutes, a nice 8 of 10 from the field with 2 threes, 0 of 3 from the free throw line, hurts a little bit, but 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, 18 points, pretty good. Obviously, you don't like the free throws, but otherwise, a good line from him. Cody Zeller, 1 of 5 from the field, 0 of 2 from the 3-point line, 5 of 6 from the free throw line, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 7 points. Terry Rozier with a big 43 minutes, 7 of 19 from the field, 3 of 8 from the 3-point line, 5 of 5 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, no blocks, 3 turnovers, 22 points. Rozier is someone who's going to put up good counting stats. The only drawback with him is typically going to be the field goal percentage, and we saw that again here tonight, 7 of 19 from the field. Bacon not really bringing it home, 0 of 3, 0 threes, 0 of 0 from the free throw line, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 steals, 0 block, 1 turnover. So not much to write home about for Mr. Dwayne Bacon. Off the bench, we had Graham, who's been a pretty hot pickup. Devontae Graham with 42 minutes, 10 of 21 from the field, 11 of 15 from the free throw line, 4 threes, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 2 turnovers, a big 35 points. He's someone that is probably already been scooped up off your waiver wire, but he's been producing mid-round value so far with a nice, nice contribution and assist, kind of bringing his value up. So if he's available somehow still on your wire, he's someone to add. Otherwise, he's someone that you should be hanging on to for good, solid mid-round value for the rest of the year. All right, moving on to the next game here. We had Boston Celtics visiting the Cleveland Cavaliers. Again, Enes Kanter was out tonight. Yesterday, there were some reports that he practiced in full. Yet as soon as that practice was over, they listed him as doubtful. So either they're being very careful with him or there's a re-aggravation or something. But hopefully he'll be back soon. Without him, Daniel Tice, 30 minutes, 2 of 7 from the field, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 0 steals, but 5 blocks, 1 turnover. So if you're in a pinch and you need some blocks and rebounds, you could use Tice. And again, his minutes and production is likely going to come down as soon as Kanter gets back, which could be as early as the very next game. Tatum, 34 minutes, 9 of 16 from the field, 0 threes, but 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 4 turnovers, 18 points for him. Gordon Hayward, looking as good as he's looked as a Celtic, 17 of 20 from the field, 1 of 4 from the 3-point line, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, no steals or blocks, 2 turnovers, 39 points for him. Biggest line, or at least scoring-wise, I believe that he's had as a Celtic. And if you've drafted him, you got to feel pretty good about his production right now. Kemba Walker, 8 of 19 from the field. Not the kind of field goal efficiency you're looking for with him, but other than that, the line was pretty good. He had 6 of 8 from the 3-point line, 3 of 4 from the free throw lines, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 4 turnovers. So Kemba keeping his early round ways going, and that's likely to continue for the rest of the season. Marcus Smart, 2 of 6 from the field, 2 of 6 from the 3-point line, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 0 blocks, 1 turnover. So we know the story with Smart. He can contribute some in rebounds, assists, give you good defensive stats, but typically the cost there is going to be the low field goal percentage. Off the bench, nothing much really catching the eye, but Brad Wanamaker had 21 minutes, 2 of 5 from the field, 3 assists, 1 steal, 5 points for him. You had Carson Edwards playing and getting 15 minutes, 5 of 6 from the field, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 13 points for him. So nothing too significant, but again, if Kemba goes out, maybe Carson gets a little bit more, or he would certainly get more run if Kemba goes out, but it takes an injury there for him to get fantasy relevant. Over on the Cavs side, you had Kevin Love cooling down a little bit. He'd been pretty hot coming in, 7 of 14 from the field, 1 of 5 from the 3-point line, 2 of 2, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 2 turnovers. So, obviously still not a bad line, but he's someone that's been top 15 so far this year. There may be some slight regression from that, but as long as he's healthy, he's going to be producing. He's going to crush his ADP. Chetty Osman, 32 minutes, 4 of 13 from the field, 3 threes, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, no blocks, no turnovers, 12 points for him. Tristan Thompson continuing his productive campaign. 7 of 15 from the field, 5 of 6 from the free throw line, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block, 19 points for him. He's also someone that's been crushing his ADP, and really no reason to think that it cannot continue. Again, is he going to be a top 40 guy for the whole season? Maybe not, but she should still be very productive and provide you very good return on your investment. Colin Sexton putting up a big, sexy kind of a line here. 6 of 15 from the field, 2 threes, 7 of 7 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, only 1 turnover, 21 points for him. Again, he's got some good potential. The big issue with him is usually the field goal percentage. That did rear its head here. But other than that, a good line, and if he's someone that can keep it going, he's got some room to improve in that category. Darius Garland, 28 minutes, 2 of 11 from the field, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, only 4 points. Some hype from him coming into the season. So far, he has not been getting it done from a fantasy perspective. But again, keep an eye on him longer term down the road. His production may go up. His minutes are going to be there. It looks like the Cavs have big plans for him in their future. Off the bench, you had Larry Nance only getting 15 minutes, but being very productive in those 15 minutes. 5 of 6 from the field, 3 of 3 from the three-point line, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. 3 rebounds, 1 assist, no steals or blocks, 15 points. He'll usually be a little bit better in the defensive categories. And Jordan Clarkson, 26 minutes, 4 of 13 from the field, 1 of 5 from the three-point line, 3 of 3 from the free throw. 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, 12 points for him. So, Clarkson and Nance are 2 guys that will be fantasy relevant off the bench. If Nance is getting 15 minutes tonight, it's going to be hard to keep his relevancy. But Clarkson getting between 25 to 30 will be continuing his low-end appeal as a 3-pointer and points specialist. Next game that we have here is going to be San Antonio at Atlanta. The big news from today was before the game started, and that was John Collins' 25-game suspension for performance-enhancing drugs. I owned Collins almost in all of my leagues, so it was devastating news for me. I'm hoping the appeal comes through, but they rarely do, so we're going to have to make do without him for a couple of months. Now, on to the lines from the evening. LaMarcus Aldridge, 6 of 14, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 blocks to give his line a nice boost there. DeMar DeRozan, 36 minutes, 10 of 16 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, 22 points. So DeRozan doesn't usually bring in the defensive stats, but he did tonight, so that's good for his owners. Trey Lyles, 20 minutes, 3 of 4 from the field, 1 3-pointer, 1 of 4 from the free throw line, 12 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 8 points. Lyles has been a nice surprise as far as rebounding goes this year. So if anyone needs a rebounding specialist, they're caught in a pinch, you want to use him for a game or 2 for rebounds, he can help you in that category. Dejounte Murray, 19 minutes, 1 of 7 from the field, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 turnovers. Bit of a letdown given the start that he's had this year. Bryn Forbes, 31 minutes, 6 of 16 from the field, 2 of 9 from the three-point line, 3 of 5 from the free throw, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 17 points. So Forbes coming alive as a scoring and 3-point specialist. Not the most efficient shooting tonight, but the low-end value has been there for somebody in 12-team leagues or even 10-team leagues. Off the bench, Rudy Gay, 26 minutes, 3 of 10 from the field, no threes, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 8 points. He's also been able to carve low-end value in a pretty small role, but his upside is capped with that minutes cap, so if there's higher upside options, you could go on and move for them, but in the meanwhile, he is going to be remain at the fringe of the 12-team radar probably indefinitely as long as he's healthy. So you could use him if you need, and you can also drop him for a higher upside player if you want later on. We had Patty Mills, 26 minutes, 5 of 6 from the field, 3 of 4 from the three-point line, 3 of 3, 2 rebounds, 2 steals, no blocks, 16 points total. Mills is another guy that has been, just barely on the 12-team radar. Again, if you need someone as a three-point specialist, feel free to fire him up. And then you had Derek White with a disappointing 19 minutes, 1 of 6 from the field, 1 of 4 from the three-point line, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 0 turnover. So White is someone that also this season has just been at the end of the 12-team radar. So again, the Spurs, they've got a number of these guys that are barely producing fantasy-relevant numbers. Aldridge and DeRozan are really the only two that have been pretty good, and Murray as well has been pretty good, but there may be some regression for him coming. Before we get over to the Hawks side of things, we'd like to remind all of our listeners here that the Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee Company is a sponsor of Hoop Ball and the Box Score Breakdown. Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee. Check out their website at hawaiianisles.com or by searching on Amazon for Hawaiian Isles. Bring a taste of paradise to your kitchen every morning, afternoon, or even evening, if that's when you drink your coffee. Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee Company. Over on the Hawk side here, we had the team minus John Collins, so a lot more usage to go around. Trae Young back and firing it up. 10 of 23 from the field, 29 points, 13 assists, 2 steals. Young is somebody who I thought was a little bit overrated on draft night, but he has exceeded my expectations. He's been a top 30 guy so far this year, and there's a little bit of room for even more if he can get his shooting to be a little bit more efficient. Jabari Parker fitting nicely into Collins' old spot. 9 of 14 from the field, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 0 of 3 from 3, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, no blocks, 3 turnovers, 19 points. Looks like he's going to be fantasy relevant for the next 24 games, so if you need a score and get some rebounds as well, Jabari Parker can be helpful for your team. DeAndre Hunter also looking good without Collins. 6 of 13 from the field, 2 threes, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, no steals or blocks, 16 points there. Alex Len still not doing much, 14 minutes, 0 of 2 from the field, 6 rebounds, 1 block, 1 point, not really fantasy relevant. Doesn't look like the Collins suspension is going to help him either. Cam Reddish, 29 minutes, 4 of 6 from the field, 3 of 3 from the three-point line, 12 points for him, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Reddish is not somebody that has been productive so far this year. I don't think that Collins' injury is going to make that big of a difference. Suspension is going to make that big of a difference. But you are welcome to keep your eye on him, see if maybe he can step up his game in the absence of Mr. Collins. Off the bench, we don't really have too much going on. Kevin Huerter, 25 minutes, 3 of 9 from the field, 1 of 3 from the three-point line, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 7 points. And then Bembry, 19 minutes, 3 of 6 from the field, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals, 1 block, 5 turnovers, 7 points total. Next game we had on the docket here are the Orlando Magic visiting Oklahoma City. Had Aaron Gordon going 6 for 13, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, no steals or blocks, 15 points total. Jonathan Isaac, 5 of 9 from the field, 1 of 4 from the 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 10 rebounds, no steals, but 3 blocks, 13 points for him. Vucevic having a poor shooting night, 4 of 15 from the field, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks, 1 turnover, 10 points for him. Markelle Fultz, 24 minutes, 1 of 2 from the three-point line, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, 13 points total for him. And then Evan Fournier with a rough 0 of 7 from the field, 0 of 2 from the three-point line, 4 of 4 free throw shooting, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 3 turnovers, 4 points. Now with the Magic, their starting lineup, everyone is pretty fantasy relevant. Fultz is somebody who's just recently put in there. He's probably getting snatched in a lot of leagues. If he's still available in your league, I'd add him. He's good for low-end value in the short term, and he's got upside for more down the line this year. Off the bench, Aminu, 26 minutes, 4-5 from the field, 5-5 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 2 turnovers, 13 points. DJ Augustine, 3 of 10 from the field, 7 of 8 from the free throw line. And then Terrence Ross, 23 minutes, 2 of 5 from the field, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 2 turnovers. So, Orlando Magic bench, not as relevant. You've got Aminu, who we know can contribute in some categories, but without a big role, it's going to be hard for him to be on the 12-team radar. We've got we've got Augustine, who also, even as a starter, was barely on the 12-team radar. Without that starting role, it's going to be tough for him. And then we got Terrence Ross, who also in a smaller role than he had last year, not going to be productive. It's going to take an injury for any of these guys to get relevant. Same with Mohamed Bamba, only 14 minutes tonight, 3 of 8 from the field, 1 of 3 from the three-point line, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks. Over on the Thunder side, you had Gallo, not with a great shooting night, 6 of 17 from the field, 3 threes, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 16 points. Tony Ferguson, 23 minutes, 2 of 3 from the field, 1 rebound, 1 assist for only 5 points. Steven Adams, 5 of 7 from the field, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 0 steals, 1 block, 11 points for him. Chris Paul, 6 of 15 from the field, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, 2 threes, 6 assists, 3 steals, 20 points for him, so he's starting to wake up offensively. Shea Gorgeous, 9 of 14 from the field, 3 threes, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 turnover. So Shea is someone that was either overrated or underrated. I mean, valuation on him was all over the place, but he's settling into around the top 60 player this year. I think it's fair to assume he'll remain in the top 80 at the minimum. So he's got plenty of opportunity and a little bit of upside for more as the season goes on. Nerlens Noel, 16 minutes, 5 points, 2 assists, 1 block, 2 turnovers. It's going to be hard for him to be a fantasy player without an injury to Steven Adams. You got Darius Baisley, an interesting rookie this year, 24 minutes, 4 of 11 from the field, 2 threes, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 10 points. Not going to be on the fantasy radar most likely in redraft leagues, but someone to keep your eye on in dynasty formats and even in redraft, maybe later on in the season if there's some injuries. Then you got Schroeder, 31 minutes, 2 of 11 from the field, 3 assists, 1 rebound, 3 turnover, 5 points. So he hasn't been bad this year, but tonight wasn't his night, and he's going to remain kind of in the lower end of the 12-team range. Next game, we had the Lakers visiting the Chicago Bulls. Lakers were down big at the half, but they came back strong in the second half, and they did take home the victory. You got Anthony Davis doing his thing, 15 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks, 3 turnovers, 6 of 15 from the field. So obviously not a great night by his own lofty standards, but no one's going to be worried about him. LeBron James, 10 of 19 from the field, 8 of 9 from the free throw line. If you own him, that's a very pleasant sight to see. 2 threes, 10 rebounds, 11 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 2 turnovers. So another triple-double for him. He's been leading the league in assists so far this year. That's going to be a nice trend. It's something that his owners are going to really enjoy for the rest of the season. JaVale McGee, 17 minutes, 4 of 4 from the field, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 10 points. So he's going to remain a fringy guy in 12-team leagues as well because of his production and blocks. Danny Green, 26 minutes, 3 of 5 from the field, 1 3-pointer, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 1 turnover, 7 points. He's someone that can be used in 12-team leagues because of his contributions in threes, steals, and blocks, even though his point total is typically not very high, and his assist and rebounding is also not usually. I mean, rebounding isn't bad, but the assist isn't anything to write home about. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, 21 minutes, 3 of 7 from the field, 1 3, 8 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Not a fantasy relevant guy for now. Kuzma coming back. They talked about a 26-minute limit tonight. He only got 21 minutes, 7 of 16 from the field, 1 3-pointer, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 1 block. So he's someone that they're ramping up his production. He's someone that once he gets fully healthy and his minutes are up there, he could be a top 100 guy. You had Dwight Howard, 24 minutes, 3 of 4 off the bench, 6 rebounds, 1 block, no turnover, 6 points. He's been actually a pleasant surprise. If you own him, you got to be happy. He's been producing top 100 numbers this year. And if he stays healthy, it doesn't seem inconceivable that he can continue doing it. Quinn Cook, a little bit of offense off the bench, 6 of 9 from the field, 3 threes, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 turnover. Again, Cook is not somebody that is going to be a strong target in 12-team leagues, but he can occasionally come off the bench and do things like that. If there's an injury or two on that team, you could consider adding him. Alex Caruso, the bald Mamba, 2 of 8 from the field, 1 of 4 from the 3-point line, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, no blocks, 2 turnovers, only 7 points. Again, similar to Cook, provides some offense off the bench, but as long as the team is healthy, not going to be a real consideration in 12-team leagues. Over on the Bulls side, we got 30 minutes for Lauri Markkanen, 2 of 8 from the field, 2 of 5 from the 3-point line, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 7 points. So not a great night for him. He's someone that hasn't been very productive to start the year, but as we know, there's a lot of upside there. So stay patient. If you own him, if you can get him on a buy low, I'd try to buy low. Otto Porter, 7 of 12 from the field, 4 of 7 from the 3-point line, 1 rebound, 1 steal, 0 blocks, 1 turnover, 18 points. Slow start for Porter as well. Good to see him playing like this tonight. And again, if you can get Porter on a buy low, I'd take a shot at him. Wendell Carter, 4 of 9 from the field, 11 rebounds, 11 points, 1 block, 2 turnovers. Zach LaVine, 9 of 18 from the field, 3 threes, 26 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, no blocks, 3 turnovers. Then you have Tomas Satoransky, 27 minutes, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 7 points. He's someone that's gotten off to a slow start, and there's some competition at the point guard position with the Bulls with Kobe White, who I'll get to in a minute. So he's someone that, again, if you're desperate for assists, you could use him, but his long-term value does not seem great. He's currently at the very, very edge of 12-team value, just barely inside the top 160. You figure he's likely to play less as the season goes on, but if that turns around and he ends up playing more, then maybe you could use him. But again, unless you're desperate for assists, not a 12-team guy. Off the bench, Kobe White was the most productive, 24 minutes for him, 7 of 15 from the field, 1 3, 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, 18 points total. So White is somebody whose upside looks pretty good, but he's been up and down this year. Obviously, last game he only scored 1 point, so it's going to be a roller coaster with him. He's probably not going to end up being too great of an asset this year, but if he ends up starting, takes the starting job away, if he gets more minutes, there's a possibility there for him. So keep your eye on him, but he's not someone you must add right now, but just if he strings together a few good games, he's worth rolling the dice on. Another part of the issue here is that there's Chris Dunn, the third point guard here, 17 minutes for him, 4 or 5 from the field, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, no blocks, 9 turnovers. So again, Dunn also too many bodies at the point guard position on the Bulls. Not somebody I'd be adding or looking to add. Kobe White I'd be more interested in if they gave him the starting spot and potentially wanted to develop him for the future. All right. Before we get to the last game of the evening, let's talk about mybookie.ag. Again, the website address is mybookie.ag. If you're playing fantasy, you probably enjoy betting on sports. If you go to MyBookie, they've got all the action that you could want. They've got all the games, all the basketball you want to bet on. It's available on mybookie.ag. The promo code is the word today. So use today, sign up, promo today. They're going to know Hoopball sent you. Get your betting going. Listen to some of our other podcasts here that discuss the daily games. A lot of money to be won. MyBookie.ag. MyBookie.ag. Now let's go to the last game. of the evening, Miami Heat visiting Denver Nuggets. We have Bam Adebayo. It's a quiet game tonight. 2 of 9 from the field, 2 of 5 from the free throw line, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, 6 points. So fairly inefficient, but we know he's good, so don't have to worry about him. Same story with Jimmy Butler. 3 of 12 from the field, 10 of 12 from the free throw line, no threes, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 16 points. Justice Winslow, 5 of 11, 6 rebounds, 10 points for him. Myers Leonard, a hot ad recently, 4 of 7 from the field in only 18 minutes, 1 3, 1 of 1 from the free throw line. 1 assist, 1 turnover, 10 points. And you got Nunn, 4 of 14 from the field, 2 of 8 from the 3-point line, 1 of 3 from the free throw line, 11 points, 4 assists, 2 steals. So Kendrick Nunn has been a surprise player to start the season. Does not seem like his top 50 pace is necessarily something that can continue, but he may be a useful player if you've got him. Kelly Olynyk off the bench, a little bit more productive than he's been. 13 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 1 block, 4 of 8 from the field, 4 3-pointers. Goran Dragic, 25 minutes off the bench, 3 of 7 from the field, 9 points, 7 assists. And then Tyler Hero, a pleasant surprise again this year, 1 of 4 from the field, 0 of 1 from the 3-point line, 2 points for him. This was a blowout. The minutes were low. I think when you look at the Miami Heat, you know that Adebayo and Butler are studs. You can use them. You can be confident with them. Winslow, not a guy that I love, but we've seen what he's done the last few years. Probably remain on the radar in 12-team leagues. And then Tyler Hero, he's been a surprise player this year. He's likely to keep it going. We'll see what happens when they're at full strength, but he may be a low-end asset for the remainder of the season. Myers Leonard has been hot. If they keep giving him minutes, he could be useful for fantasy. We'll see if they keep giving him the minutes. And then Olynyk also, somebody's had a very poor start to the year. If they give him the minutes, he could also get on the radar. So between Leonard and Olynyk, just see if either one of them gets a consistent 25 to 30-minute role, then they could potentially be fantasy relevant. On the Nuggets side, you have Paul Millsap, 17 minutes, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Will Barton, 5 of 10 from the field, 2 threes, 3 of 5 free throws, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 15 points. Jokic continuing his slow start to the year, 4 of 12 from the field, 1 3-pointer, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 9 points. If any owners are panicking on Jokic, a great time to swoop in there and try to buy low. Unlikely they're willing to give him away, but it's worth inquiring. Jamal Murray, 33 minutes, 9 of 15 from the field, 1 3-pointer, 2 of 4 from the free throw line, 21 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Gary Harris, 17 minutes, 3 of 6 from the field, 1 rebound, 1 steal, only 6 points. Then you had Jeremy Grant, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. He had 30 minutes. It's going to be a good question if he usurps Paul Millsap's starting role, and even if he doesn't necessarily start, if he gets 30 minutes a night, he's going to be very valuable from a fantasy perspective. So Jeremy Grant is an interesting player to keep your eyes on. See what happens with his minutes. If he gets a bigger role on this team, then he is worth adding. If he stays in the 20-minute or less role, then obviously not. Now, the other thing with the Nuggets is there's so many wings. Barton, Harris, they're the starters, but off the bench, you got Porter Jr., who only got 3 minutes a night, and then Malik Beasley, who got 17 minutes, and Monty Morris with 22 minutes. As long as they're all healthy, it really harms all of their value. Morris and Beasley are hard to own right now. Morris had a decent night, 11 points, 8 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Obviously, that's not a bad line tonight, but he's been a hard player to own. Same with Beasley, only 3 points tonight, 1 assist. So as long as they're all healthy, they're not worth adding, but they're worth monitoring in case somebody goes down and opens up a little bit more time for any of them. So that pretty much wraps up the box score breakdown for this evening. I'm Hank Aaron. You can hit me up on Twitter, HankAaron26. Once again, you can hit me up on Twitter, HankAaron26. I'll be available. Get into my DM ask whatever questions you need. Happy to help. Happy to go through your team, any pickups, etc. Other than that, check out Hoop Ball every day. Updating every day, live news, up to the second information. Keep it locked in at Hoop Ball. Make sure you crush your fantasy leagues. Thank you very much. I will see you all next week.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.